guess what? You signed a paper called the Housing License Agreement, which means that you're responsible for knowing and following all our housing policies, even if you didn't read them. So you may want to check up on that student handbook we gave you. If you have any questions about any of our policies, feel free to ask any Res Life staff member. Now, let's go over some of these policies, but don't worry, we won't go over all of them. We have specially designated areas where it's just fine to throw things around, but inside is not one of those places. Throwing objects in or out of windows is also prohibited. Speaking of windows, if you have anything displayed in there that is available for the public to see, housing and other community members get to determine whether or not it's offensive, and if a staff member tells you it is, you'll have to take it down. Because we are federally funded, we follow federal law. Breaking any of our policies about alcohol or other illegal drugs may result in removal. So pay attention. These things are not allowed. Possession or consumption of alcoholic beverages or possession of empty alcohol containers by those under the age of 21. Being under the influence of alcohol or illegal drugs in public areas, especially if this includes disruption of the community. Possession, use, cultivation, production, sale, gift, or exchange of illegal drugs. There may also be a damage charge for smoking marijuana. Providing alcohol to minors or the production of alcohol. Regardless of age, bulk alcohol like kegs and devices like funnels or beer bongs are not acceptable, and being present when any of these activities is taking place is against housing policy. If you're not 21, you may not be present in a room where people are drinking alcohol, unless you live there and you are not taking part in the drinking. Now, breaking any of these policies is still your responsibility, even if you're intoxicated. Appliances are allowed in student rooms and public areas if the wiring is safe, if they are turned off when not in use, and if requests regarding noise made from other residents or staff members are respected. Now, electric frying pans, Coleman stoves, toaster ovens, full-size refrigerators, anything with an exposed heating element is not allowed. Use the kitchen instead! Candles, barbecues, and other incendiary products like flamethrowers and fireworks and blowtorches are fire safety hazards and are not allowed. Candles found burning or with burnt wicks will need to be taken and put into storage for the rest of the year, and the resident will be fine. But public barbecues are available to you. Now, if you want to use your own barbecue, that's totally fine. You just have to stay at least 25 feet from the nearest building. To ensure a safe and healthy environment, a reasonable level of cleanliness is expected in your individual resident rooms. You also need to know the cleaning responsibilities for your area. Custodial staff assists with maintaining cleanliness in an area, but they are not responsible for picking up after you. If it takes them longer than their normal time to clean because you left a mess, everyone in your area will be charged. Climbing onto or rappelling from buildings, balconies, trees, lampposts, stairwells, roofs, or any other areas is prohibited. Don't do it. Warm-blooded, feathered, and poisonous pets are prohibited in the residence halls, but reptiles, fish, and amphibians are allowed, so long as they're adequately contained in a 10-gallon tank or less. Each resident may have one aquarium, except if you live in a triple room, then there can only be 2. You must get your roommate's permission before bringing home a pet, and it needs to stay in your room at all times. It can't be in the J. Don't leave your pet over when you leave for breaks. There may be maintenance work, which means electrical outages, and that could affect your aquarium's equipment. Firearms, ammunition, fireworks, or any other weapons, including any non-cooking knives greater in length than 2.5 inches, are not allowed in or around the residence halls at any time, and may lead to removal. Additionally, toy guns or paint pellet weapons and activities such as assassin are prohibited. You can have guests stay overnight in your room if you have registered them with the information desk and if you have explicit, unanimous consent with all of the residents sharing in that common area. Cohabitation, when someone stays in a room for an extended period of time without having a bed space assigned there, is not okay. If it happens, you'll be billed a nightly rate. Now, you can have no more than 2 guests, and the resident who's hosting must be with the guests at all times. Sleeping in public areas like TV lounges is not okay. Absolutely no kind of physical abuse or violence against any member of the HSU community will be tolerated. This includes spitting, hitting, punching, kicking, slapping, or the use of any weapon to cause harm. Any behavior of this nature will most likely be grounds for immediate removal. We have designated smoking areas, like that one. Smoking anywhere outside these areas is absolutely prohibited. We are committed to providing an environment that promotes academic achievement. The right to sleep, study, and enjoy a peaceful living environment supersedes the right to create noise that disturbs others. Pay attention to quiet hour notices posted in your area. Speakers should not be placed so that they are facing out of windows or outdoors. These speakers may be removed. An inability to establish and maintain a reasonable level of respect with your roommate can result in an administrative room move, restriction from certain areas, or removal. Skateboarding, rollerblades, inline skating, and bicycling are all prohibited in and around all housing areas. Sports and recreational activities such as baseball, football, golf, catch, flying disc, soccer, darts, hacky sack, wrestling, and bowling are all not allowed inside. Please, consider the possible damage your activities might have on the lawn. Never wear cleats, and stay off the lawn if it's wet. Any behavior determined to constitute sexual misconduct or assault, including but not limited to stranger rape, acquaintance rape, date rape, or other forms of sexual violence, or any non-consensual sexual contact, will be viewed as a serious matter and will be subject to severe judicial action. Acts of sexual assault include those committed by force or intimidation, or through use of the survivor's mental incapacity, such as intoxication or perceived physical helplessness. If you would like to report an incident of sexual misconduct or assault, you can contact any housing staff member, or you can call the North Coast Rape Crisis Team directly, 24/7. A climate of fear or intimidation is not acceptable. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect. Verbal or written abuse will not be tolerated and will result in judicial action, which may mean removal. As a resident, you're responsible for adhering to all the guidelines outlined in the Residence Life and You Handbook and the Student Housing License Agreement. Now, you're also responsible for upholding campus-wide policies, CSU policies, local, state, and federal law. Sometimes these regulations will overlap. If a violation occurs that agencies have different regulations for, you'll be held responsible to all the agencies that have a relating regulation. Guess what? You made it! Congratulations, and thank you for watching. I hope this video has been super helpful for you getting settled in here with Housing Plus IE. If you want to see the video again, you can check it out on our website, humboldt.edu/housing. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact the Housing Information Desk, your CA, or your RLC.